Hey everyone, how are you today? Hey, let's get this started. I'm Regina, and you are you. And welcome to Conversation with Regina. Oh gosh, this is like my weekly show. And if you like it or want to subscribe, hit the button, subscribe. Make sure you click on the notifications. We encourage comments for those of you who watch this when we're not live. This will all be posted up along with the live chat after we're finished here. And so without further ado, oh gosh, what I talked about subscribe, and I talked about notifications and likes. Be sure and like the video, and let's get this channel rolling. Oh my stars. um it's kind of sponsored. Well, I shouldn't say the word sponsored, but Regina is brought to you by Ray's Roast Coffee, which is a business I own. And I always like to do a shout out for my coffee. Today, I'm drinking a Costa Rican geisha. And I just find this coffee to be really delightful. It's really super expensive, even for me. And so I don't even have it for sale, but I do have some really good coffees. I just got a new batch. I got a Honduran Typica coffee in the other day, and I haven't even roasted the first batch. I was going to last night, and I just decided it was dinner time. Had lost focus on what I was doing, and once that happens, I struggled to regain it. I got into a conversation, texting conversation on the phone, and I didn't burn anything, but you know how it goes. You're just sidetracked. But anyway, life is really, really super good. Super good. Darn, Oh, I think we got a pretty good topic going here today. Oh, I know what I wanted to say about the coffee is we have a website, www.raysroast.com. Somebody suggested that I get, what do you call those? A teleprompter. And I thought, that's not a half bad idea, but, I lose track of what I'm talking about even without that. Even if I would have it, I would be skipping all over because that's just the way I am. Squirrel. Oh, did you see that? I kicked Tank out today because it's sunny outside and warm. God, it's unseasonably warm for the middle of January. Can you believe it's the middle of January already? Oh, my stars. What is today? The 13th. My stars. It was just like yesterday was Christmas, and the day before that, it was Thanksgiving. How did we get here? It's been a week already since the insurrection at the White House, and oh, my stars. It's funny about all these things that we talk about here is all about forgiveness and kindness and expectations and acceptance. And these things keep happening in Washington, D.C. that are just really make us have to work we have to mindfully do the things that we talk about on this show. Otherwise, we're living in all this resentment and anger and whatnot. And I just don't want to live that way. There are things that we can do to change everything, and let's do that. But we don't have to be angry. We don't have to storm buildings. We don't have to do a lot of things that we could do. And so I don't want to get into the politics too much, but it's on everybody's mind right now. But I think the main thing is to be kind to your neighbor, regardless of who they are, and let them be angry. It's our local communities that change the world. And so, anyway, hey, let's take a look and see who all's here, because I see folks here. What do you mean this is where you'd like to see me take which one? Oh, I see, Christy. I see. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So Holly, Christy, and I've already said that. Hi to those guys. I said hi to Jessica, but she had stepped out of the room. So hi, Jessica. Hi, Sarah, showgirl. And hi, Louise. And who else have we got here? Talk to Holly and Casey. I'm just not even reading what you guys are writing. Oh, your wife is like that, Casey, going off on these little tangents. And Heidi's dream. Hi, Heidi. How are you doing today? There's a Jennifer in the room. Hi, Jennifer, if you're here. So, I mean, you guys have already discussed all this acceptance and what was the other thing? Expectations. That's the bad part about a conversation with me, is I can't ever think of the words anymore. I wonder sometimes, as I increase in age, so I don't say the word older, I worry about getting like Alzheimer's or something, and because I can't remember words, I can't remember what I go into a room to do, and the more I'm home, the worse it gets. It's like I actually have notes today, a few. So, like, what is an expectation? Your expectations are your strong hopes or beliefs that something will happen or that you will get something that you want. It's from the Collins Dictionary. And what is acceptance? The Cambridge Dictionary refers to acceptance as a general agreement that something is satisfactory or right. It is about our approach to reality. And so how does one affect the other? So, expectations are like, since I started with the government a few minutes ago, I'm going to say something about the government does something that we thought that they would do, and they decide not to do it. Or like some bill gets, or they don't want to like do equality, or it took them forever to do marriage equality, or all those things. And we have these expectations that this is what needs to happen, and they're not following. So we're disappointed, and we live in this disappointment. And acceptance of that is that we don't have an expectation. If we let our expectations go, and this is kind of the premise that I'm coming from, if we don't have any expectations and accept things, it does not necessarily mean that we like what has happened or that we don't work to change it, but we just accept it and remain serene and unturmoiled by it. That's kind of the concept that I'm going to, and I've seen that there's a lot of different things, like your kids. I mean, Casey's got kids, and and if you have expectations that they're always to behave, you'll be sorely disappointed when they step out of line. And if you have expectations that their grades are going to be something, that's putting a lot of pressure on those kids to do something that they might not be have the aptitude for doing. You know, I was always kind of a mediocre student in grade school, a little on the upper level, but I was also very bored with it all. And you know, and it was really a problem around the house. My sister and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is that both her and I, we had to do really well to stay out of trouble. My brother would get a C, and the parents would be just happy that he got that C, and he would get all the accolades, and my sister's A or my B would just go by the wayside. And it was, you know, and our expectation at the time was that we should get all the hoo-has and he should be kicked to the curb. And you know, so that's what expectations do, is they create, what's the saying, that, you know, every expectation is just that much closer to another resentment. And expectations and acceptance kind of got, in my world, got put together in 12-step programs. And so, you know, there is a book, and there's a chapter in the book that I read. It's called "Acceptance is the Key," and you know, it's really interesting. And this guy, you know, he first, we have to accept that we quit drinking, and then we have to, but it goes so much further beyond that, accepting what other people do. You know, everything that's past the end of my nose is none of my business. So why would I have an expectation that something is going to come my way from whoever? You know, what could be good about that expectation? You know, why would we want to put expectations on anybody? Because it's really going to come back to disappoint us. You know, I mean, happiness doesn't come from what is out there, and doesn't, or even if it comes to fruition, you know, is that what makes us happy? I don't think so. You know, the happiness is an inside job. Everything that builds up to that. I mean, just to you know, being grateful and being everything else is what creates the happiness. It's the love that creates happiness. It's being grateful and being kind and giving. Those are the things, to me, that create happiness. Well, if I have expectations, that's kind of like a drain on my happiness. And so, you know, learning how to accept the things that go on around us, I think, is the key here. And it's really, you know, if nothing is my business out there, and I'm just an observer, a grateful guest on this planet, or even the steward of this planet. You know, our job is to take care of the planet. And you know, as Ram Dass says, we're nothing more than loving awareness. And so if that's what we are, then we don't matter. You know, everything out there doesn't matter, because we just are aware, awareness, loving. We are love. And so, you know, that's where I'm at with all of this. And oh gosh, I hope some of that makes sense. One of the notes that I really liked was expect nothing and you get to everything. And yeah, expectations are resentments waiting to happen. So, this is what we've got to deal with. I know all of us, including myself, I still have expectations. I mean, I expect people to act um, kind. I expect when I'm walking down the street and I say hello to a stranger, I expect them to say hello back. Does it affect? I'm very accepting of the fact that they might not, but I want them to, or there's so many other things. I expect my dog to get up before 11 o'clock every day and go outside. And he doesn't always. Sometimes he just like gives a bump in the middle of the floor. What I do expect is when we're out walking that he behaves himself if he's on the leash. Doesn't happen. And that is where I need to accept more because, now I know he's not going to behave. I accept that and I make changes in our walking patterns. But anyway, let's check in, guy. You guys are writing up a storm here, and you probably got more wisdom about this than I do. You know, so let me back up a little bit here. How do you accept a child who doesn't meet expectations, such as they that turn into a psychopath? Well, how do you know that the expectations that were placed on that child didn't turn them into the psychopath? They had problems. They're sick people, and we accept that and take precautions for our safety and for theirs. You know, why be disappointed with it? It is what it is. That's the other thing. Everything is what it is. And so that gets me into kind of a like a sideline here is we're all, even a psychopath is right where they're supposed to be because and sorry if this higher power, God's will kind of thing gets in the way here, but my belief is we're all right where we're supposed to be because there's lessons to learn, there's things to do. you know it's not always good. There is suffering that goes on. There's mental illness that happens. But there's, things are going to happen through life. And all I can worry about is me. That's my business, is for me to come out of that being loving awareness and to not get upset. If I see that changes need to go, it's my responsibility to do those to the best of my ability without reacting, without getting upset, and take care of business. So somebody's birthday is Sunday. Whose birthday is Sunday? Uh-oh. We're talking about all this alcohol here. Yeah, that's not always a good situation, Casey. Borderline psychopath. His passport came to my house one day, which is how I learned he lived on the same street. When I went to him, he greeted me with a shotgun. Well, that's a situation where uh, you don't hang around. Yeah, so sorry, Casey, but I have two. I can say my two are definitely their own people. I just tried to help them find their niche in the world and what they enjoy doing. So far, no psychopathic behavior. Well, that's good, Christy. Should grades be used? Grades just make people feel bad. That's a darn good question. I don't know. I kind of think that um, they do need to be used, especially later in schools, um, because there needs to be some kind of assessment, evaluation of if you didn't use grades and somebody wasn't doing the work and you were going to be like a college entrance examiner or even a job, people need to be able to look at what you've done up to, I mean, even for entry level positions at fast food places, I think some of that has to be looked at and it's just kind of the way the world is, in my opinion. I don't know, though. I mean, certainly if there was a reasonable argument to change my mind on that, I would be willing to listen. But, um, I just kind of think that it's a challenge and I think some of us need the challenges. And maybe not always as children, but I think undue pressure from above, from the powers that be to make these achievements, to excel in something are are wrong too. And so, you know, what's the answer? What's the answer? I don't know. Oh. So JJ, you've taught before. You've been in the school system. What would be an alternative to grades? Good. Now I like that attitude. Casey, always behave. Nah, my only major expectation of my kids is to pass school, give it their best, try is all I expect. I try not to expect perfection. Holly, I was expected to get straight A's and I did. My parents were overachievers. Yeah, and you're still, you know, that's interesting, Holly. That's interesting. I'm glad my parents were supportive about me breaking the gender barrier and taking shop class. It hurt my GPA because I didn't get an A, but I broke the gender barrier and that's all I cared about. Nice, JJ. Good for you. I have a narc for a mother and I never knew my father. I also accepted the fact that I would never meet him. I always broke the gender barrier. I was one of the few women in a difficult science program. Okay. Right on, Christy. Tough crowd, Holly. Hey, Lulu, how are you doing? Well, I don't think grades are really publicly known anyway, are they? Um, when they handed out the report cards when I was a kid, and that's a long time ago, um, we were not encouraged necessarily to show them off around the playground, take them home, get them signed, bring them back. I don't think I ever showed my report card, but I certainly would talk about it with people. And I mean, that's just, we were kids. That's what kids do. So if you are told to keep things secret, you're probably not going to. So anyway, so I did have one reading picked out. We can do another one later, but here's the one, and this is about acceptance and expectations. And I kind of like this. It's pretty short. Are you ready? Do I hear a ding from my friend Casey? Okay, here we go. I do my thing and you do your thing. I am not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you are not in this world to live up to mine. You are you, and I am I. And if by chance we find each other, it's beautiful. If not, it can't be helped. So that's one reading. Pretty short poem, but it says a lot. And that's from Gestalt therapy. Hey, Lara's here. Good to see you, my friend Lara. Oh, goodness gracious. So here we are. The Joe Biden CCP agent. Hi, Joe Biden CCP agent. Whatever that means. So, oh, mercy. I'm kind of like at a loss now. So anyway, back to expectations. I'm thinking that they're not a good thing. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it, because we all have expectations. I mean, I certainly still have expectations. I have expectations every day, and that they often are not lived up to. And and so it becomes a choice then for me to accept the fact that people don't live up to the things they say they're going to do, or and or build a resentment about it. So if I don't have any expectations, how can I possibly get a resentment? because remember, I'm the lady who wants to have that clean slate, that I don't want to have those people renting space in my head and not giving me something for it. Hi, Naya, how are you doing today? Um, so kind of where I'm at, I really go along with the person in that book I was talking about earlier, where acceptance is the key, and their stance is that acceptance is inversely proportional to expectations. The higher my expectation level, the lower my acceptance level, and it goes both ways. And so here we are, and there's my friend Marty dropping in too. Hi, Marty. Great show the other day when you had Louise on. So anyway, back to this, and Yahira, hi. Oh, good to see you. So anyway, where am I? All these folks dropping in now, and squirrel, I'm off and running someplace else, but that inversely proportional, if we just keep that in mind, and when we see an expectation crop up in ourselves and start having resentments and whatnot about what is happening, then what can we change? What can we change about it? All we can change is ourselves. We can change our attitude about what's bugging us, because we got no control over people, places, or things. I mean, absolutely no control over anything out there. Everything I can control is right here, right here, right here. And that's it. And so why worry about that stuff? If somebody's going to do something, they're going to do it. It's not up to me. I mean, I just have to accept it. Now, if there's something I can do, like vote or something, or avoid the situation or whatnot, so be it. It's not my monkey, I'm just me. And if we could live that way to perfection, imagine that. If we could do everything to perfection, what a wonderful world it would be. Well, we can't, and so just one little bit at a time is all I'm thinking. And so yeah, whatever people think of me is none of my business. And exactly, I've got a deal posted on my refrigerator that's it was like some old guy in the program said it all the time, and it says something like, you wouldn't worry about what people thought of you if you knew how little they did. In other words, like you're the last thing on their mind, because they're thinking about themselves, as they should be. And so, oh my gosh, I better check in here again. Oh, everybody's saying hi. And the Supreme Court is voting on the second impeachment of said orange man. Oh dear. Yeah, that's good. I think. Will they make it? I mean, will they do it? That's the question. He certainly deserves it. A noun, a noun is a person, place, or thing. Oh gosh, did I cross some line with my choice of words? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering how'd the Supreme Court get into that? Um, so my language is getting compared to Jack Black's. That's scary. Um, anyway, oh my stars! What an active chat we've got going on here today. I'm really pleased to see that. Um, and hopefully the 20th will go peacefully. Yeah, yeah, I hope so too. I understand there's like 2,000 National Guardsmen waiting, and it's going to be interesting. Oh, mercy. So, what can we do about it? Nothing. It's all going to happen. If we don't want to be involved in it, stay home, watch it on television, support the people that you want to support. Um, we don't have to be part of it, but let it be known at the ballot box. Yeah, I don't want to get mixed up in that. Together we have unlimited power. Thank you, Joe, for saying that, because that's kind of like where we're at here, or where I'm at. We can do together what I cannot do alone. And so we lock arms and start doing something in a peaceful manner, we can gather a lot of power. And in our very limited, marginalized community of trans women and allies, or trans folk and allies, and we can increase our size by quite a bit, and gives us more power, and that's how things get done. Um, so um, I like see little snippets over here, and then I'm like in the middle of a sentence, and so thanks, Joe. My message being healthy and positive. That's what we're shooting for. And I don't want to be a negative person, because it just doesn't do anybody any good. I don't want to speak ill of anybody. I see stuff all the time, reading on Medium and whatnot, that, oh God, it just drives me crazy. Anyway, thanks. We try to keep our conversation positive and encouraging. That's how we bring happiness and light to the world. Thanks, Casey, for saying that. Faith over fear. Amen, Jessica. Resentment equals poison. Boy, howdy. Yeah. And the other thing, that since I've already delved into the big book today, the other thing that they talk about in there is praying for those that we have resentments against. And that is good. Helps those folks, and helps us to get rid of that resentment. They say pray every day for 2 weeks and that resentment will be gone. And all you have to pray for is for them to have everything that you want. What? So if you want good in your life, you pray for those folks to have good in your life, in their lives. So, oh, Lara, what are you stuck at? Pondering just what expectations really mean in my life. I don't know just now. Well, expectations, you want me to go back to read that definition again? For those folks who came in late, expectations are your strong hopes or belief that something will happen or that you will get something that you want. And we have come to the conclusion, or I have, that we don't need expectations. I mean, we all have them, but we don't really need them. And the sooner that we can get rid of them, the better off we will. Step 1 through 11 is just one thought away. Then you can move on to serenity. Amen. Amen. So, yeah, it's living. What took me to find serenity was finally living my truth, to become authentic. And that was what I got out of HRT. We've talked about all the physical aspects of HRT, but I've not really ever talked very much about the other things that I got from HRT was the ability to be honest, to feel like I'm authentic. And so it comes back around, and those are the things that makes living the positive life filled with gratitude and whatnot so possible. Like I always said, the serenity prayer, and I could accept a lot of things, but I didn't feel a whole hell of a lot of serenity. And then I got, and for years it was just, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. And I just kept living the same over and over and over. And finally, it occurred to me that I needed to find some courage to change the things that I could, because I really was just kind of being lazy and not looking at what I could change. And so this all goes down to acceptance and expectations too, because I had accepted that I was just always going to be male. And when I started gathering some courage and started living authentically, all of a sudden I can understand serenity, that calmness that settles in occasionally when things are going right, when the world is right in my heart and in my head. That is serenity. And I couldn't do that before. I was clean and sober for 20 some years before I understood serenity, but it was all about the word courage to change that started changing things. And then we have to take a look at what we can change and what we can't change, and so that's really kind of more of a little bit of a backstory about why I can talk about acceptance. I mean, pardon my language, but fuck, I couldn't accept that I was Regina for a long goddamn time. I kept stuffing that. I stuffed everything for so long. And here I am. And so I couldn't live up to those expectations anymore. You know, anyway, I guess I should check in with the chat room here. We must accept the fact that no person or thing will live up to our expectations. I say lose the expectations, Holly, then you don't have to worry about it. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Wrong novel? Living fearlessly is beautiful and natural. You are a role model for many. Well, thank you. I can be disappointed, but expectations are toxic. Amen. Sometimes being authentic, you're not always godlike, and you have moments where you just want to tell people to fuck off or curse people out. I embrace being human and flawed and making mistakes. Yeah, but we don't have to live with the anger. Authenticity is the most valuable thing. Amen. And, and accepting that we're flawed, hey, I got that. I'm certainly not perfect. It's a good time to all be a little nicer to each other and let go of things which aren't important. Amen to that. I didn't meet any LGBTQ until I went to Iowa in 2015 and met a lot at the amusement park I worked at. A 70-year-old was my neighbor in RV park, and she said she figured out she was gay late in life. Interesting. Personally, HRT has a goal, but my doctor deflect the conversation. When I bring it up with friends, I feel like I'm exposing something dirty about myself. I just want to feel beautiful. Amen. I got you. Yeah. Getting past that shame part, that's a lot that people, particular, throughout transition ages, it's instilled in it. It's like watching the movie Disclosure, the documentary that's on Netflix that Laverne Cox did. It just instills shame in us. Those Jim Carrey scenes were just disgusting, and oh, Louise, I can't speak French. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am upset, I can find no peace until I accept the person, place, or thing as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at the moment. Right on, Dr. Paul. I know. I was going to bring that into the reading, but it was like 4 pages. Thanks, Marty, for saying that, though. Oh, gosh, sounds like you might want to get another doc, Joe. Yeah, I'm not making progress with my physical goals. Keep looking. What town are you in, Joe? Joe, look around you. Alone is the last thing you are right now. Casey, you are, pretty close to wonderful. Little shout out to my oh gosh, monitors, Casey and Christy. They do a wonderful job here. Um, it in fact is a process. Cincinnati, God, there should be a doctor in Cincinnati, I would think, but I don't know. I've never been there. So, oh gosh. What we should probably do are like Khalil Gibran reading, change the subject a little bit. Have we done enough expectations and acceptance? Is there any questions? Let's do that first. So, any questions about this that I might possibly be able to answer? I think you all kind of got down to what? Okay. The pre-ding. So my favorite little Khalil Gibran. I've got another big, thick book, but all the stories, all the little deals are like 4 or 5 pages. And so, but the problem with this little one is I'm starting to think that we've read them all, which is probably not true. And I don't have one picked out, so it takes me a minute. Well, this is kind of appropriate. Giving and taking. Once there lived a man who had a valley full of needles. And one day the mother of Jesus came to him and said, "Friend, my son's garment is torn, and I must needs mend it before he goeth to the temple. Wouldst thou not give me a needle?" And he gave her not a needle, but he gave her a learned discourse on giving and taking to carry to her son before he should go to the temple. So let's do one more because that one was so short. And we'll do the 2 hermits. Upon a lonely mountain, there lived 2 hermits who worshiped God and loved one another. Now, these 2 hermits had one earthen bowl, and this was their only possession. One day, an evil spirit entered into the heart of the older hermit, and he came to the younger and said, "It is long that we have lived together. The time has come for us to part. Let us divide our possessions." Then the younger hermit was saddened, and he said, "It grieves me, brother, that thou shouldst leave me. But if thou must needs go, so be it." And he brought the earthen bowl, and he gave it to him, saying, "We cannot divide it, brother. Let it be thine." Then the older hermit said, "Charity, I will not accept. I will take nothing but mine own. It must be divided." And the younger one said, "If the bowl is broken, of what use would it be to thee or to me? If it be thy pleasure, let us rather cast a lot." But the older hermit said again, "I will have but in my own, and I will not trust justice and my own to vain chance. The bowl must be divided." Then the younger hermit could reason no further and said, "If it be indeed thy will, and if even so thou wouldst have it, let us break the bowl." But the face of the older hermit grew exceedingly dark, and he cried, "O thou cursed coward, thou wouldst not fight." So, with that, hey, you know what I've got to do today? This is kind of like a cool thing that has happened. This will be the third time in 4 years that I have been invited to be part of a panel of LGBTQ folks for a sex education class at a local church in Walla Walla. And I just am always so honored to get to go do that. And I think it's really, really cool that these kids get exposed to LGBTQ community. And it's a great honor. And I'm looking forward uh, to do that tonight. No, it'll be on a Zoom meeting tonight, but it has been at the church before. And yeah, in the past they didn't do it last year, but they did it 2 years ago, and the year before that was my first time. And so that's really kind of cool. I'm like wanting to bring it up and talk about it because God, last night it was like 8:30, and I thought, oh my God, I forgot to get online to do this, and then I realized it was tonight. Because I was completely discombobulated. I've been in the house so much and alone so much for the last couple of months that I often have no idea what day it is, and the days all kind of run together, and it's wow. So anyway. Well, that's pretty cool, Naya, that you went to church last week. Yeah, there was a church up my street, a block and a half. And I had heard they had a banner over the pulpit that said, it doesn't matter who the hell you are, you can come to this church and you'll be welcome here. And so I knew that some of my friends went there, and so I went, and the roof didn't fall in. That was the first time I'd gone voluntarily to a Sunday service in roughly 50 years, and so I was shocked when the roof. My expectation was the roof would fall. And I had to accept that the church still stands. It's still over 100 years old, and it still stands. And the minister there is a dear friend of mine now, and a lesbian lady. Her and her partner. Her partner was the one who got me mixed up in this panel. And so I just think all this is so cool. um, because while this is conservative Eastern Washington, there are progressive things happening, and it's in this town down the road of 30,000 people or 40,000, whatever it is. It it just oh gosh, it seems like everybody's bailing out here. So, hey, bye, Sarah. Talk to you soon. And you know, I think it's pretty cool that there is that kind of program in this location. And roofs don't fall on anyone in church. Oh, well, I wasn't sure of that. So anyway, we've been on here an hour, and I got to do another show tonight. So hey, let's wrap this up. Thank you, each and every one of you who has been here today. I could not do this without you. So thank you, and thank you again. So how about we do this again next week? And well, for those of us who can, let's say some prayers for the problems out there in the world, and thoughts and prayers go out to you. Take care. And we wish your mother the best, Naya, if she's getting treatment. And oh, your friend is sick with cancer. Well, okay, give her our best too. So long, everyone. Have a good week and take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.